All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What's up, guys? Rio here. Going to be breaking down this 5-game NBA slate on February 3rd. As always, hit the like and subscribe button. Definitely helps us out a ton. Hope everybody's weekend is going well. I know we got golf going on over here. Got MMA today. Got you covered with all sports. Yeah, looking forward to this NBA slate. Got a couple more days with the leaderboard single entry, so make sure you get into those contests. But let's get right into it. First game of the slate, we have the Golden State Warriors taking on the Atlanta Hawks, 243.5 over under. Atlanta favored by 1.5. Really good game environment to kick things off. Both these teams coming off of a back-to-back, coming off of a win last night. Warriors going to be without Dario Saric again tonight, so we should see Brandon Podziemski take over that role to some degree. The Hawks side, they'll be without Sadiq Bey, and they have DeJounte Murray and DeAndre Hunter listed questionable, so they could be a source of value in some ways. Matchup-wise, though, the Hawks are one of the worst defenses in the league. Been looking to attack them on every slate that they're on from a DFS perspective. They get beat every level, transition, pick and roll, off-ball shooters, rim defense is terrible. So I think that everybody from Steph Curry all the way down to Pods is pretty much in play tonight. Obviously prefer the guys at the spend-up spots. Steph matchup going to be pretty solid. If DeJounte Murray were to miss, it'd be much easier for him, but it shouldn't really matter that much. Steph's usage has been really solid since Draymond Green entered the starting lineup. Last 3 games, it's been above 30%. This Hawks team has given up the 3rd most points per game to catch and shoot shooters, and Steph has been shooting really well since Draymond entered the starting lineup, so I don't mind him as a spend-up option. More of a contrarian spend-up option, though. Jonathan Kuminga, probably the guy I'm most excited about on the Warriors side. Been playing amazingly lately. Steve Kerr, the Warriors they have more trust in him. They're allowing him to be more aggressive offensively, and he just continues to crush. I mean, he's got it's been like eight or so games where he's been above 5-6x this price tag. And even a couple games ago, these teams faced off. In 29 minutes, he went 11 for 11, 25 points, 9 rebounds, went for 46.75 DK points. I think that he's going to have a really good game tonight. Ownership will definitely be there, but this is a really solid game environment for a player like him who thrives in a fast-paced game. The Hawks are bottom 2 in transition defense. I think that he could really have a good scoring night tonight. Draymond Green as well makes some sense tonight. Should benefit from the pace-up style that the Hawks like to play, and the Hawks are bottom 4 rim defense, so maybe he can get some scoring going down low. I think that Clay is a pretty, I'm not going to say sneaky option because he's looking at 20+%, but really good option for the Warriors for a catch-and-shoot perspective. He's the best catch-and-shoot player on the Warriors, and the Hawks struggle to defend that area. And then I think Andrew Wiggins is okay, kind of a contrarian pivot to some of these guys in that range. He's been much better since Draymond's been in the starting lineup, so I don't think that he's the worst play. I do like Brandon Podziemski, though. He's benefited pretty nicely with Dario Saric out of the lineup in back-to-back games, played 34 and 37 minutes. Got a double-double last game, was kind of flirting with the triple-double, had 7 assists, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I think that – or he had 14 assists, 14 assists, 7 rebounds, so that's really nice to see. I do think that you could see these guys like Trace Jackson Davis, Kevon Looney getting more minutes, but I don't think that tonight would be the night. You don't have to deal with Clint Capella that much offensively. He's not like a Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic type center, so I don't think they really need the defense from their backup bigs. And on the Hawks side of things, Trae Young, pretty good spot here, coming off a game where he shot 7 for 11 from deep. Had another efficient night against the Lakers a couple nights ago. The Warriors are struggling with their 3-point defense in the month of January. They allowed the 4th most per game. The Warriors are pretty solid pick and roll defense, though, versus lead ball handlers. So they're a little bit of downside to Trae, but I think that he would be a much better spend-up option if DeJounte Murray were to miss. I don't think I would get there to DeJounte Murray. He's a really solid floor play. I don't think that he can really access a massive ceiling playing alongside Trae Young right now. Jalen Johnson, fine option in the 7Ks, should benefit from a pace-up style game, so I don't mind him at all. Should play more minutes as well with Saddiq Bey sidelined and possibly even more if DeAndre Hunter were to miss. And then Bogdanovic would be in play for me tonight if Murray were to miss. Really good matchup for three-point shooters. Next game, Sacramento Kings taking on the Chicago Bulls. 229.5 over-under. Chicago favored by 2. Bulls defense have been pretty solid all year long, protecting the rim, but they're one of the worst three-point defenses in the league, and they allow the most points to catch and shoot shooters. So this should set up really well for guys like Keegan Murray, Kevin Huerter, Malik Monk. On the flip side, the Kings have been pretty similar defensively. They're top half of the league in rim defense and bottom half three-point defense, but they've allowed a lot in January. I think they're one of the worst in the month of January, allowing three-point shooters. Domantas Sabonis should be in a really good spot here. Bulls are bottom 4 in points allowed to pick and roll men. Sabonis has a really safe floor with almost a guaranteed double-double every night, and he should be able to get close to triple-double tonight with the Bulls playing more help defense. They could, he's a really, really solid passer, could be able to find the open shooter as long as the guys are knocking it down. I think he has a good chance at a triple-double tonight. Not too excited about De'Aaron Fox, though. He should see Alex Caruso defensively, and the price tag really good for him, 8.2K. But I don't really love to attack the Bulls with lead ball handlers. Alex Caruso, really, really solid defender, so I don't think I'm going to get there to De'Aaron Fox tonight. I do really like this matchup for Keegan Murray, and he's going to be unowned tonight, 6K, looking at less than 3% ownership right now. He's the Kings' best catch-and-shoot option, and yeah, the Bulls are really vulnerable to catch and shoot guys right now, so I think that he could have a really big scoring night. Very similar matchup to the Miami game, where they're one of the worst catch and shoot defenses as well, and he shot 7 for 11 from deep, went for 51 DK points in that game, so I think that he's a really solid contrarian option in the 6Ks. Kevin Huerter, price tag did not move at all, still a really solid value option here. Looking like Malik Monk and him are kind of looking similar ownership. I do prefer Kevin Huerter here. He's been really solid when he gets 30-plus minutes and a really good matchup for catch-and-shoot guys. I think that Barnes kind of makes a little bit of sense, too, at 5K, shooting much better lately. I don't think that he's the worst option. Very similar matchup to Kevin Huerter and Malik Monk. He's playing big minutes right now, so I don't think that he's the worst option. And then I'm okay landing on Malik Monk if I get there. I think I would prefer Kevin Huerter for $200 more. And then on the Bulls side of things, really kind of predicated on Kobe White's injury designation. I think he's questionable right now with an ankle injury. If he's out, Vucevic and DeMar DeRozan should see a ton of usage, and they're already projecting really well right now in the mid-7Ks. So I don't think that either one of those guys is terrible tonight. I think I do prefer Vuce. He's got a slightly higher ceiling and a totally fine matchup. Sabonis is not the best rim protector in the league. And then I would assume move right now is a really strong value as it stands. But if Kobe White were to be out, he's that much better. He's been playing really well lately over the past 4 games, has not scored less than 27 DK points, and he's played 39 minutes in back-to-back games with Patrick Williams on the sideline. I think that he could definitely get above 40 minutes tonight if Kobe White were to miss. I like him a lot. Next game, Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the San Antonio Spurs. 229.5 over under. Cleveland favored by 10.5. This is probably the game I have the least interest in. Cavs have been one of the better defenses all season long, getting healthier. Jared Allen should play tonight. Evan Mobley expected to play tonight as well. Just got Darius Garland back. So I don't really want to attack this Cleveland side with any of these Spurs guys. I think that, Wembanyama obviously makes a ton of sense every night of the week. Just an elite fantasy point per minute producer. Cleared to play in back-to-back now, so he should, see normal, close to 30 minutes tonight. But 9.4K, a little bit tougher to access a true ceiling for him. When things are going right, he's got the Luka Doncic, Giannis type ceilings, but I just don't know if he can get there tonight in a matchup versus this Cleveland team, who's one of the best rim defenses in the league and just best overall defenses in the league. And then on the Cleveland side, the Spurs are one of the most attackable teams with pick and roll men. So I think that Jared Allen is okay, but slightly dock his ceiling with Evan Mobley set to return tonight just from a rebounding perspective. And then I think that, Donovan Mitchell's okay, 9.7K, slightly harder for him to get to a ceiling game. He did against the Pistons. Really solid matchup there. That's kind of similar to that matchup in some ways, but with Darius Garland there, I think it does limit his upside a little bit. So not too interested in this game. I think Trey Jones, Keldon Johnson could also make your player pool. They're cheap enough, but not too excited about that game. It's mostly a cross-off. Next game, Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Dallas Mavericks. 246 over under. Milwaukee favored by 4.5. I'm just watching Wyndham Clark in the background, just absolutely nuke today, just running away with this thing. But I digress. This game is probably the best game to attack. This one and the Warriors and Atlanta game. The Mavericks will be getting Luka Doncic back tonight. And they'll still be pretty thin with Kyrie Irving, Dante Exum, and Derek Lively all listed out. Derek Jones Jr. is questionable. Milwaukee going to be pretty fully healthy. They've struggled defensively all season long. It has not really changed much, even with the addition of Doc Rivers. So they're a very attackable team defensively. On the Milwaukee side of things, Giannis obviously in a really good spot here. The Mavericks are struggling to defend the paint with no Derek Lively. Giannis, fantasy scoring has been down as of late. He scored 57 DK points or fewer in 4 straight games. But this is a matchup that he could definitely take advantage of. The Mavericks are bottom 3 in DVP to opposing power forwards. I just don't think that I can justify paying up for Giannis over Luka. Maybe there's a way that we can get to both of them, but I do think that you'll be limiting the upside of your lineup as a whole. The value is looking okay right now. We don't have any, min-price starting centers, so it's not guaranteed to hit. But yeah, I do prefer Luka over Giannis in a vacuum. Don't really like Dame tonight. I don't really have much to say. He's just not playing that well right now. Chris Middleton, probably my favorite play on the Bucks side, probably the best points per dollar play on that side of things. Always been a really solid fantasy point per minute producer in his career. Now he's seeing, upper or mid 30s minutes, 30 to 36 minutes. Doesn't really have a nuclear ceiling at this price tag, almost 7K, but he's very, very consistent. And I do think that 40 points out of him could probably be enough tonight. Definitely like this game environment. I think that he's my favorite play on the Bucks side. I think Brook Lopez makes some sense as a low-owned value option or, mid-tier option. Playing a lot of minutes right now, 34-plus minutes in 7 straight games, always live for a big blocks performance. And, yeah, the Mavericks do struggle defensively with the interior defense, so I think that he's fine. Don't really like anybody else below Brook Lopez. On the Maverick side of things, it's pretty much Luka or bust. I mean, he's just the best spin-up option tonight. It's not really close. Almost a 74-point projection. Great matchup versus the Bucks, who are dead last in points allowed to pick and roll ball handlers. Luka is second in the league in that category, so he's a great spin-up option. Going to be a core play tonight. I think Tim Hardaway Jr., Josh Green are fine to get to your player pool if you land on them. I don't hate it. And then Rashawn Holmes, I would only be interested in him if he is starting. If he's not starting, there's a very good chance that he DNPs. They'll have Maxi Kleber back tonight. So I think that you need him to start in order for him to make your lineup. Last game of the night, Lakers taking on the New York Knicks. 226.5 over under. New York favored by 4. Lakers have been a source of value over the past couple of games with Anthony Davis and LeBron missing multiple games. Do expect LeBron James to play tonight, going to the Garden, but Anthony Davis' injury is more so up in the air. If he were to miss, then I think you could go right back to Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood, even Rui Hachimura with Jared Vanderbilt out for the next couple of weeks. I think that he makes some sense. And then on the Knicks side, obviously still going to be without Julius Randle. Quentin Grimes did get ruled out tonight, and then OG Anunoby is questionable. If he misses, you can go right back to Josh Hart, Precious Achiuwa, Miles McBride even. McBride did overlap some with Jalen Brunson last game. They've been staggering them a little bit more, but seeing them overlap definitely gives me more interest in Miles McBride. Lakers has been awful defensively outside of the last game versus Celtics. Their interior defense has been, it's been fine even with Jackson Hayes down low, but they've been a huge three-point funnel all season long. They're allowing the second most per game, third most points to catch and shoot shooters. I think that Dante DiVincenzo, really solid option right now. I doubt he comes in at 50%, but 7K is a pretty expensive price tag to pay for him. He's the second best option offensively with OG gone. So I think that even at 7K, you could get to him with seeing a 40-point projection on him. So I think that he's totally fine. Obviously, Jalen Brunson is the spend up option on the Knicks side of things, but I kind of struggle to see a true ceiling out of him. 9.6K. Obviously, the usage is going to be there. He's going to take a ton of shots. It's a great matchup. But I do think that I would prefer to probably get up to Sabonis if I'm in that range, or just flipping the build around entirely. Not too excited about Jalen Brunson tonight, just for the price tag. I do love the matchup for him, but price tag wise, not super into it. And then some more guys on the Knicks side. It's really dependent on OG Anunoby's news. I don't think that you're going to get there at almost 7K if he's in. I doubt he would be on any sort of minutes restriction, with it being elbow inflammation. Matchup's pretty good for off-ball shooters, like I mentioned earlier, but almost 7K, kind of tough for him being more of a question mark, not knowing how many minutes he's going to play tonight. I think that Josh Hart would be okay to get to at 6.4K. I think people would be a little bit worried to get to him after he busted last game, but this is a better matchup. The Lakers are one of the worst transition defenses in the league, and he's really seen his rebounding tick up with Julius Randle on the sideline. And Isaiah Hartenstein, really like him at 6.3K. Minutes restriction looks to be lifted. He got up to 36 minutes last game. Don't really mind if it's Anthony Davis or Jackson Hayes in front of him. He's going to play a ton of minutes, and I think that he's a really solid option at 6.3K. And then would not mind Precious Achiuwa, but only would get there if OG Anunoby were to miss. He played 40-plus minutes in back-to-back games that OG missed. So I only think that you're getting there if Anunoby is out tonight. And then Miles McBride is the value option, 3.4K, point guard and shooting guard eligible, which is nice. So I like him as a value option. And then on the Lakers side, I don't think that I'm getting to any of these guys as of right now, just with Anthony Davis and LeBron James projected in. None of these guys are projected well, but if AD were to miss, Jackson Hayes, 4.4K, I think that he makes a ton of sense. Christian Wood, even 4.1K. He's the I don't want to say the higher upside guy, because Jackson Hayes was the one to get there, but he's the better scorer of the two. So take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, Rui Hachimura would make sense as well, with this team being pretty thin in the front court if Anthony Davis were to miss. And then, yeah, same thing. If LeBron James were to miss, you're going to D'Angelo Russell, 7.5K, Austin Reeves, 7K, and then Rui, Hayes, Christian Wood. Well, I guess those guys, you'd only want to go there if Anthony Davis were to miss. And then Taurean Prince, 3.8K, going to play a ton of minutes. He's a starter, so I think that he's a fine value option. Doesn't really have a ton of upside, but he's totally fine. That's going to do it, though, for this 5-game slate on this Saturday. Hopefully everybody has a good weekend, and I'll catch you guys on Tuesday. See ya.